You are listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
It is the Foamy Heads hanging out this evening, afternoon, whenever it is you're deciding to listen to us. Mitch and Rich hanging out on the mics today.
That's right.
Mitch,
I'm here.
how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. It's good to get back into drinking some beers, talking about it. And, you know, the craft is ever changing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to what we've got today.
I think it's going to be good. So just as kind of to preface, we are drinking 3 beers today. I have only had 2 of them. So the last one that we're going to get to is something that obviously you have not had, but I have not had either. So I think it's going to be a good time today. We're going to be drinking Hawaiian brews because I just got back from the Big Island, Kona, Hawaii, and got a chance to visit quite a few breweries while I was there.
Ooh.
And I think they definitely do beers different.
Yeah. I've always been curious about Hawaii and their craft beer scene since how many miles away? 1,500?
The mileage I don't actually know, but it is a long ass flight. I think we took 3 legs. We went from Nashville to Seattle, and that was probably a good 4.5 hours. And then from Seattle, we took from Seattle just to somewhere else really quickly. It just kind of puddle jumped over, and then from there all the way to Hawaii was another 5.5 hours. So all in all, it was about 12 hours of flying.
Goodness.
Plus layovers and all that. So, I mean, we basically left early in the morning and got there with the 5-hour time change because they're 5 hours earlier than we are here in Tennessee. So we did get some of that time back, but it's still an entire day's worth of flying. So, you know, we left here around 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we got there around 6 o'clock p.m. You know, so, and that was with getting 5 hours of our day back to us. So by the time we landed, it was almost midnight. It was like 11 o'clock over here in Nashville. So an entire day of flying.
Ugh, that's rough.
Yeah, but it was worth it. It was, it's a good trip, but Hawaii's great. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the foamy suds that they produce on the Big Island.
Foamy suds.
Yeah. So I'll kick us off real quick.
Sure.
So today we're going to be drinking from 2 different breweries. We went to 4 total, 4 or 5. So I kind of just, you know, one of them was, so I guess in chronological order, we started out at Kona Brewing. That stuff that you can get here stateside. So Kona Big Wave Longboard is just, you know, they are a very mass distributed beer.
Yeah.
That you can get all the way back here in Tennessee.
Okay.
So, you know, pick it up in a 6-pack at Kroger, Publix, whatever. We stopped there. Good beers, great food. Their pizza was phenomenal.
Nice.
The energy was just real chill, you know, kind of island vibe over there. But I didn't want to spend too much time focusing on that because, you know, you can get 90% of what they produce here.
True.
So that not necessarily what I was hoping to go for. But the next stop we went to was Ola Brew. Ola. And I will tell you, Mitch, I ordered a flight of IPAs, and there were 7 of them.
I saw that monster flight.
They were amazing. Every single beer they had was great. And I will tell you, if you can produce a session IPA with a lot of flavor, you know exactly what you're doing. And they call it Dahazy IPA. It was session. It was like 4.55%. I mean, it was really low alcohol, hazy as anything, and just loads of flavor. It was amazing. But that being said, they only had a few specific beers that they had in cans. So I wasn't able to really bring anything They had a triple IPA. They had a milkshake IPA that was really solid. Wasn't really able to get any of those because they were just kind of one-off batches. You know, what they do there is the equivalent of probably a Bearded Iris over there. Something new every other week. You know, I think we stopped in there 4 times while we were on our trip, and they had something different every, like a new beer on tap every single time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was amazing. But what I brought back was their regular IPA, and it's good. It's really solid. I want to drink this beer.
Let's get into it.
Right, cool.
I like the cans. They're a little different.
Yeah. So the cans over there, if you look at it, and we'll post this on the Foamy Heads Instagram page, but if you look at the cans, they're almost kind of almost like a rib or at the top. They almost kind of look like crushed at the top a little bit. That's how you can tell, you know, a can from Hawaii. So it's and all of the beers are like that. This is the other one we'll be drinking here in a little bit. You can see it's kind of got the same thing. That's from a different brewery. So yeah, it's really good. But go ahead and get this pulled up. I think I got too much foamy head on that one. Oh shit.
We'll we had a little shout out from Poor Choice of Words, and let's
yeah, I believe yeah, so Poor Choice of Words, another podcast in the area, they posted on their Instagram page, and they tagged us with a beer with a pretty good looking foamy head, and they asked if this head was foamy enough for us.
And we could retort with this foamy head
I
if
think
you want.
we're about to. So guest host DJ from time to time loves to comment on my my pours.
Yeah.
And he likes to say that I am an aggressive pourer. I would say that is accurate.
Could you go ahead and grab a shot of those glasses and just tell them you need to be more aggressive with your pour or something like that? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something fun to say, but it was sweet of them to shout out like that.
I got that one right there.
Nice. Yes.
Nice.
You got the audio mixer in the back, so that's good, or the track. So.
That's right.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank
Here
you
we
for
go.
bringing these back.
Absolutely. So kind of running down this one real quick. Just a simple West Coast IPA. It's got Simcoe, Citra, and Cascade hops on it. In it, I should say. Brewed by Ola Brewing in Kailua Kona, Hawaii.
Kailua Kona.
Yep. It's not very, it's not super high in ABV, 6.5%, 55 IBUs. It is the quintessential West Coast IPA, kind of with a Hawaiian spin on it. So it's, you know, they West Coast, you kind of think real danky, super hoppy.
Yeah.
I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably around an 8 in terms of like how West Coast is this beer, right? So I mean, like when they say West Coast, how West Coast is this beer? You know, it's not super aggressive like a West Coast, like a beer from San Diego would be, but they do a very good job, and it's a very drinkable IPA.
Oh.
So it's super good. It looks like a West Coast IPA. It's relatively clear. It's not hazy at all.
Right.
It's got that golden color to it, with a pretty decent foamy head that just likes to stay. Of course, that could be my aggressive pouring.
I mean, it also has a nice nose too.
Yes.
I've been admiring it here.
It's dank smelling.
Yeah.
It's got that West Coast hop profile flavor smell to it.
It smells wet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Sometimes it is just the way it is, you know? Man, I'm going to go ahead and dive in with
Let's jump in.
Right off the bat with the nice little bitter tingliness.
Yep.
Whoa.
So
clean.
You can kind of see where I'm getting at, though. Like the hops definitely stay with you.
Yeah.
You know, even after the sip, like I've still got some hop profile, you know, in my mouth, and it's definitely got that West Coast vibe. But it's not turned up to 11 like, say, a Stone Ruination or a Ruin 10, or maybe
Very
like
true.
a green flash beer, which we can't get here anymore. But
right.
you know how West Coast does their IPAs.
This one's got like a lighter taste and something. I'm trying to put my tongue on it. If that's
I think you're right. I think it's the ABV.
Okay.
West Coast IPAs normally don't clock in around 6 or 6.5%. They're a little heavier than that.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a little bit lighter, right at 6.5%. So it's not that super heavy West Coast IPA style that you're used to drinking. It's lighter.
It is.
In a sense that you can drink it pretty fast, as you've got just a 1 or 2 sips left already.
Yeah, it goes down really quick because I was trying just to get more flavor on my palate, and that hoppiness sticks, but it's also super light, like we were saying. I can't extract anything more from that. This is almost like what I would consider more of a lawnmower IPA.
Okay.
If I was to fuse those two styles together a little bit.
Easy drinking.
Yeah.
Hot day.
It may be 6-something%, but it's still light.
Mm-hmm.
It still feels light.
Yeah.
And it'll get you there a little quicker than other kind of like, what do you call them? Lawnmower beers and stuff.
Than a typical lawnmower beer.
Yeah.
I think
this one's flavor's better too.
Yes, much better than a lawnmower beer.
Yes.
And I will say, these guys know what they're doing. So I don't know the connection in terms of if they have outside help. I don't know. I don't think they've been around too long, but these guys know exactly what they're doing. So you walk in and and they're not just a brewery. They're a brewery and cidery as well. So, I mean, they had 7 IPAs, one of which was a triple, one of which was a session, and then another one was a milkshake.
Whoa.
And then, of course, they had this one. And then they had a regular hazy IPA. They just call it Mo Hazy.
Mo Hazy.
They had the Duh Hazy, which was the session, and then the Mo Hazy, which was regular. So they had, and of course, a couple more. And then they had ciders. They had a dragon fruit and lychee cider that just looked amazing. My wife ended up drinking it every time we went there, and they distribute to restaurants around the area. So
nice.
Everywhere you go, they had that cider on tap, and she probably had it 5 or 6 times wherever we went.
Oh man.
And then they have seltzers, and they have teas as well. So spiked teas, spiked seltzers. So they kind of do it all, but they do it all well.
Mm-hmm.
They have a stout, which I did not have while I was there, but we'll be getting into that later.
Yeah.
They were good. They were solid. It was a very open space. They were very good with not only social distancing, but keeping everybody safe, because Hawaii, even right now, is still very, not locked down, but they're still very conscious of what's going on around them. So mask indoors, no matter whether or not you're vaccinated.
Right.
Every other table is left open.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the Hawaiian lifestyle.
Makes sense. Plus, I mean, you're surrounded by water in a smaller land space, I guess. I mean, I would kind of want the overall mandate to stick a little more, because it's all out-of-towners coming in. I mean...
100%. Hawaii is a big destination for vacation and travelers from the mainland and other countries.
That would worry me as a person that lives there, all of that foot traffic, and you don't know where people been. They're all STDs coming in.
That's a good way to put it. I felt like an STD just rolling up into a local brewery, like, hey, I'm from Nashville.
Yeah. Oh,
and they're like, oh, you guys are the place. That's the place that people don't believe that coronavirus is real, right?
When we look at the charts, you're radioactive.
Yeah.
God.
We're in a state that they don't want to. Matter of fact, when we got off the plane, we had to submit information prior to, and being from the mainland, it doesn't know whether or not you've had a vaccine, whether or not you can show proof that you have your vaccine card. They require a COVID test, negative test within 3 days, and no earlier.
Wow.
Before your takeoff.
Oh man.
And you have to upload all that. They want to know where you're staying, the license plate of your car.
Oh man.
All of that stuff. So they're like, oh, you guys are from the southeast of the United States. Like, we need a little extra info on you. I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. It's how it is, man. Rules the rules.
They're protecting their city, their area.
Yeah. it's just it's still a wild time over 6 months and 7 months now. Yeah, 7 months into the year after.
We're 2 years into the 2 week flattening the curve.
Yeah. Gosh.
But that was good.
That was awesome. So I finished it way too quick because it feels more sessionable than it should be.
Okay.
I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think you're right. 6.5% is not too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when you think Bearded Iris, when you think Southern Grist, when you think Living Waters, when you think Tenfold, when you think Crazy Gnome, you know, when you think of the breweries around us, 6.5 is, I mean,
a little lower now.
Yeah, it's not a session by any means, but it's not over the top.
Yeah.
You know, crazy. And even Bearded Iris won't call their stuff a double until it hits, you know, like 8.5%.
Sorry, 8%.
Yeah. Most IPAs here are around 7.5%.
That's true.
So I mean, you know, everything's a little bit more chill. Everything's lighter in Hawaii, and their IPAs are just like that as well.
Keeping it casual.
Shout out San Diego.
Yeah, shout out Casual Matt.
But you're right. They had a triple IPA there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 8.5%.
Yeah.
We wouldn't really consider that to be a triple over here, but when it's 85, 90 degrees and super humid, kind of like what it is now, but it's a different kind of humid over there because you're surrounded by the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, you want something lighter. You don't want 10, 11% IPAs. They just don't sell well over there.
Right. It's too much.
Yeah, too much. That's exactly how to put it.
Yeah.
So, you know, they kind of clock things. They dial it back a little bit.
It makes sense. It's all regional, really. So it's the same reason why we have stouts in the middle of the hot seasons. I mean, why not?
I mean, I want a stout in the middle of the season. You know, it's almost summertime right now. In fact, it is summertime, and we're going to be drinking a stout here in a little bit.
We got several stouts we got to get into past that stout too.
Oh yeah,
eventually. Like you know, the focus isn't Mythos, but we still got a Mythos to catch up on.
Yeah,
there's another coming out soon, and I have 2 of their barrel aged releases. I don't remember their names, but I've got 2 big ass bottles. So we've got a lot of stouts from Living Waters to catch up on. We've got, you know, 3 Floyd stuff. We've got a Black Tuesday.
Oh God.
I mean, that's now like 11 years aged.
Yeah, and we'll be drinking those into the winter time this year.
Yeah.
I mean, so we might as well just start now.
Yeah.
Even when it's winter time, we'll be drinking it. It'll
we got
be
a
good.
backlog, so it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
That
was good. What was your final rating on that? Your final thoughts?
So I'm gonna give it a nice little comfortable 4.
Okay.
Because this is one that, you know, I would definitely want to try this on tap because it stayed so fresh in the can.
Yeah.
That it tasted light, fresh, slammable, if you want to use that term. I don't know what kids are using it on tap these days, but
youngsters.
Yeah. Sessionable, I think, is another hot word. But I would definitely count this as more sessionable in my opinion, just because I'd have it in the fridge and I'd just be able to throw it back.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a good synopsis. I would rate it around that as well. Probably give it closer to a 3.6 or a 3.7. Definitely within that range of that good beer would definitely have a GAN category.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I was admiring the can. For those of you that can't see, all of you. So the can is ribbed at the top like you were talking about before. A lot of Japanese cans, like if you buy Japanese import coffees or anything that are canned, have the same ribbedness.
Oh.
And you can't crush that shit easily. But with American cans, we use such thin aluminum that we crush the cans. It's like almost... You haven't grown up in America if you don't crush a can.
Wait, but you can crush that can, can't you?
Oh yeah, you can definitely. It's
just right in the middle.
Yeah, it's super crushable. But
that top does not bend.
Yeah, so it's a fusion between kind of 2 worlds. You know, they took on the aspect of wanting to reduce casualties to the lip and the overall, like, you know, if it falls the right way, it'll pop and spew.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's still the case with this design, but I appreciate the extra ribbed for our pleasure.
For everybody's pleasure.
That's right. Top. because it's not easy. You can't dent it easily. No. So, it's a little more durable. So I was admiring that.
And that's every can in Hawaii. So, I mean,
that's wild. Okay.
There's IPA, ciders, sodas. I mean, Pepsis and Cokes look the same way over there.
Ooh. So there's a reason they do it then.
I feel like it. They all source probably from the same. Most of this stuff comes from, from the island.
Mm-hmm.
So getting those, it'd be a lot more expensive to transport them over from the mainland. So they probably all just source from somewhere on the island, and there's probably only one or two production companies that create these cans.
So they got it on lock.
Yeah. Even Konas, when you find them in bottles over here, you can find them in bottles over there, and the bottles look the same, but the cans look like the ribbed cans, whereas the ones over here look like a regular soda can.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So jumping into the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little bit different. I don't know if I wanted to start with the IPA first and then move to the pale ale, but that's what we ended up doing. So I'm just going to go with it.
Okay.
But this is I feel kind of in the same category. So this is 5.4%. So it's a little bit less. But it's got a ton of flavor for a pale ale. So normally we would drink a pale ale first, at least I would, and then jump into a West Coast IPA. And that's probably still the route we should have gone. But I don't feel like that I'm doing any injustice here by having this one next, because there's still a load of flavor from this one. So this is from Hilo Brewing Company.
Hilo.
Yeah, this is on the opposite side of the island. So it was about an hour and a half of a drive, probably a little bit more than that. Hour and 45, maybe 2 hours from where we were at Ola Brewing to the other side of the island, because it's that big. But the thing that I like about Hilo Brewing is I walked in, they had 7 beers. That was it. There was I have 3 hazies. I've got 1 session. I've got 1 West Coast. I've got they had a pale ale, an IPA, a red ale, a brown ale, a porter, a stout, and then like a wheat beer, and then a Hefeweizen, and then they were out of the IPA. So it was kind of like I walked in and ordered a flight, and I was like, I just want a flight, and they're like, cool. They didn't ask me what I wanted. I go, well, do I get to pick? And he was like, nope, you're getting one of everything. Okay.
Can't complain about that.
Right.
I'll take it.
So I can complain about it, and I will, because the one I wanted was the IPA, and that was the one that they were out of. Which is fine. I ended up having it. I looked for it everywhere, couldn't find it. Turns out that talked to a couple of beer shops and liquor stores where they normally carry Hilo cans, and they didn't have anything. And from what I understood, they were having a little bit of trouble on the canning production line, so they weren't getting anything in. So it made sense that I couldn't find it. Matter of fact, this was the only 6-pack that I could find anywhere that I went. I found it on a shelf in Target, and it was the last 6-pack.
So you got lucky to even get the cans.
I don't even think it was where it was supposed to be. There was like some end cap that had clearance stuff, and then it just happened to have the 6-pack. Somebody made a decision and took something else and put that one back, and I came through and grabbed it.
Nice.
So, you want to pop into it?
Let's do it.
All right.
That was a good one. Oh, it kind of...
A little foamy.
It got excited.
Yep. Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
All right.
See if I can do this one a little bit better, Mitch.
I don't think a pour could even
this isn't
mitigate.
So I will say these cans made the trip from Hawaii back into Nashville, and it traded planes 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Inside luggage. Got shaken up a lot.
Yeah.
I'll watch the mixer. Sorry, Mitch.
It's all good.
It surprises me that this one did it and the IPA did not.
Yeah. I'm still curious how, even after settling, though, it just stayed stirred up, I guess.
But this is good. So while we're letting that foamy head kind of dissipate, the Mauna Kea Pale Ale, from Hilo Brewing Company, 5.4%, loads of flavor.
I can't wait.
Yeah, tons of flavor for a pale ale, and I hate that I say that, because I would normally go for an IPA over a pale ale any day. It's just a little that extra turn knob up,
Right.
But that's not to discredit a pale ale. I just feel I'd go for an IPA more than a pale ale, but I don't feel bad for drinking this after the West Coast IPA from Ola.
Yeah.
I feel like this can hold its own. Awesome. I feel like it's not going to be as heavy as dense as the West Coast IPA that we have from Ola, but I feel like it stands on its own two legs.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting a nose for it, and it's got already a nice floral kind of hit.
Floral right off the nose.
Yeah.
100%. This is what I like about Hilo Brew is there is no, as I kind of said earlier, they don't have 10 styles of one thing and 10 style. I kind of equate them to, there's a brewery here in Murfreesboro, and the name is slipping my mind. They have a collegiate program with MTSU.
Something project.
Project. Yeah, that's one of the lines that they carry.
Hop Project.
Hop Project. No,
that's a different thing.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is they brew one style of every beer, and I feel like that eliminates. And I actually posted on this on the Foamy Heads Instagram page when I was there, and when they make something, they take the guesswork out of having to order a beer. They just say, okay, here's an IPA, here's pale ale, here's a red ale. When you walk in, you don't say, oh, I'm just curious, what is this one, or what is this going to taste like, or which IPA should I choose? They eliminate all that guesswork for you. They just simply say, hey, here's our IPA and here's their pale ale. So I feel like eliminating that need to make that decision can be easy, especially if you've had a few beers already and you want to go in and have something else. They're just going to say, okay, here you go, here's your beer.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Man. Oh, I see you pulled up the on the Foamy Heads Instagram page, the Hilo Brewing.
I did. I was
post.
I was saying if the mention of the other beer place was
no, Hop Springs. Hop Springs is the brewery I'm thinking of. So they're kind of an extension of. They have a couple of other names. Oh God, it's killing me now.
They got several names, but
there's several different subcategory brewery names underneath, the one. But Hop Springs is kind of like where the college students, when they're at the yeast or the hop, the agricultural, degree at the university, and they want to learn how to brew and make all that kind of stuff. This is where they do their learning.
Yeah.
At Hop Springs, and you and I went there one time.
Yep.
And they kind of had one basic style of everything.
Yeah, they kept it pretty traditional overall. Variety, but no kind of like experimental things or different strains of hops or anything. They kept it very to the point.
Yep.
So I appreciate that, but at the same time, I think what the goal going there was a new brewery, let's drink. And it was just the traditional styles.
Yep.
So, it's good and bad
in
one eye, but we just didn't know what we were getting into when we went. So that kind of made my experience go down at that point. But later on, I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, that's my own attitude getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I think they're catering to a different kind of beer drinker.
Yeah.
Than you
yes.
or than me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of more of a, oh yeah, I like IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll have this one. Okay, cool. Or somebody goes, hey, Richard, do you like IPAs? They're like, oh, yeah, hazy sessions, double, triple, dry hopped, all this kind of stuff. They're just like,
Well, here's an India Pale Ale.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
You get one of that style.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that's what we're getting here.
Okay.
We're getting the traditional pale ale kind of with a Hawaiian spin on it.
It's got a great nose, and I think it's ready.
Let's try a sip.
I'm admiring it real quick. A little haze.
Yeah, a little bit of haze. It's got some caramel color to it. A little copper tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Foamy head finally dissipated. Little legs staying on the side.
It looks bready. It's a little amber and bready.
Curious if it tastes like that too on your palate.
Yeah. Tasty.
Yeah.
I was wondering what those pops were. It's fireworks.
Okay, so I don't know if the mixer's picking up on it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
But I definitely, I see you looking around. You're like, what's going on? I'm trying to figure out what Mitch is looking at. And
we got our cans on our ears and, hearing a little but. And I'm like, am I kicking the table or what? Am I knocking something over? Because I'm a fidgeter anyway. So yeah. I immediately am thinking, what am I doing to cause this noise? But it's just outdoors.
Somebody's shooting fireworks off right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they can pick up on it, but
I don't know.
It's not you. It's them.
'Tis the season. Wow. You're not kidding about flavor.
Yeah.
Kind of sugary on my tongue a little bit. There's maltiness, a little bit of that dry kind of hoppy hit on the back of my tongue. All things I like. It's bready. And this is a 5-something percenter too. That's interesting.
Yeah, 5.4.
So a lot of punch in this package here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking it.
It stands on its own.
It really does. It's flavor sticking around too, kind of like that other one. They know how to keep something on your tongue after it's already washed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really surprising.
I want to look up. I want to look it up on Untapped real quick because I can't.
Mauna
Kea Pale Ale, 5.4%. Yeah, 42 IBUs, named after the most majestic mountain on the island of Hawaii. Mauna Kea Pale Ale is an American pale ale brewed with the finest malts and hops from the U.S. Northwest. Mauna Kea Pale Ale is a medium copper in color with a superbly well-balanced hop flavor. So the flavor profiles on Untapped is light, sweet, malty, hoppy, and can liner. I don't know what that's about.
Can
liner. That's one thing that I'm not sure of. But they definitely mentioned sweet. Mm-hmm. And you kind of said there's a little bit of a sugary profile. And I didn't pick up on that the first time.
It's like
I had it, but I definitely taste it now.
Yeah.
And it could be that I've never had it in a can. Mm-hmm. Had it on draft. So I don't know if there's something there at play.
Maybe it's just a little stronger after canning than it is on tap.
Yeah, it could be that, or I had 4, 5, 6 beers.
This is true.
In a flight, and now I'm getting a little bit more, whereas opposed to I'm just having a couple of sips if I'm having my flight.
Yeah. That's a damn good beer.
Mm-hmm. So you can see why I kind of said that. If we would have had it first and then the IPA second, I think we still would have been okay. Mm-hmm. But doing it this way, I don't think it sacrificed any of the flavor of the pale ale.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So it's good. Big ups to Hilo Brewing Company.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this one a lot.
Yeah,
the last one's just it was so crushable. I'll use that again. I just powered through it. This one I've taken several sips of, but I'm sitting there letting it. I'm tasting it a lot more.
This one does not drink as fast as the West Coast IPA. You're right.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. less ABV by about a percentage.
Yeah.
Pale ale and not an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Pale ale, not a West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
But still has enough flavor to where you're just sipping on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't expect much from Hawaii, but I didn't know the beer scene had made it over there. And
I agree. It's a little bit of a flex, but this is not the first time I've been to Hawaii. So we went a couple of years ago before my son was born. And we were the only ones that knew at the time that Gavin was traveling with us. We hadn't yet made it known to family, but while we were there, Rachel wasn't able to drink, because she was with child.
Oh.
So, we went to a different island. We went to Oahu.
Yeah.
So we stayed at Waikiki Beach, and the beer scene there is kind of what I think you expect the Hawaii beer scene to be. Everything was like super light, super tropical. I'll use the term crushable because I think you nailed it with the last one on that flavor profile, but they just didn't have a lot,
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed, but you come to Nashville, man. You hit Bearded Irish, Southern Grist, Living Waters, Crazy Gnome. You hit all these breweries, and they're not just popping up and producing regular ass beers.
No.
Tailgate, they're doing a lot. Black Abbey, they're doing unique stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like you get that over there in Hawaii. So I really didn't expect greatness going back to Hawaii, this time to a different island. But again, Hilo, I think, as for a brewery that produces just kind of one of each beer, they nailed everything.
That's awesome.
Everything they had was good. Their red ale was good. Their Hefeweizen was solid. Their porter was great. Their wheat beer, their lager was just super crisp and flavorful. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of a lager. It's something I don't do very often.
Yeah.
But when in Rome,
Exactly.
But everything from Hilo was solid, and everything from Ola was solid.
And cheers to Hawaii craft beer, man. That's a really good last sip.
Yeah. So, and we went to a couple of other breweries. Just running them down real quick. The Big Island Brew House was one that we took one day where we just traveled around what they call the Hawaiian Belt. It's basically the same road that goes around the perimeter of the Big Island. And we visited a couple breweries here and there.
Big
Island Beer Haus.
Beer Haus. So German.
Big Island Brew Haus.
Brew Haus.
Yeah, German, kind of got a German vibe to it. Outdoor environment. That was one that I didn't plan on hitting. We were just driving and we just happened to see it. And Rachel was like, "Oh yeah, let's go in here." I was seeing that on Google the other day. So we stopped in, little kind of outside, kind of hut looking type place, and they just had tons of beer, and they were all really good. They had a Baltic Porter I feel that you would have really enjoyed.
Heck yeah.
And it was true Baltic Porter style.
Man.
And then they kind of had a chocolate porter. They had stouts. They had an IPA. Everything they brewed was really good.
Nice.
I wouldn't say that they were my favorite brewery. I'd definitely say Ola was my favorite. But I mean, we visited quite a few places, but I think Ola takes the cake. And we have one more that we're getting into that not only you, but I have not had either. But it is a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout from Ola Brew. But I think we're going to need a rinse break before that.
Sounds good. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Oh, we're in for a treat.
Excuse me.
There you go. That's what 2 beers will do to you.
Right off the bat there. On my return, I'm burping.
So this one's going to be good. I just put my elbow in spilled pale ale. I should have grabbed a napkin on my way out.
You got a towel right there.
Fuck it. It's too far away.
All right.
This is going to be good.
Yes.
So just kind of to foreshadow, I have not had this beer.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I know they had a stout on tap when I went. I did not have it. I don't think this is the same one. I feel like this is a different one because this is not just a regular stout, but this is a milk stout. But not only that, a Russian Imperial milk stout. But not only that, it's barrel aged as well.
Man.
So barrel aged Russian Imperial milk stout with Kona grown cacao nibs.
Whoa.
So chocolate straight from the island.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. 12 fluid ounces. Looking for the ABV. You saw it earlier, Mitch.
I did? Oh, yeah. It was at the front.
9.7.
Ooh.
34.5 IBU. So it's definitely not going to be hoppy. But I feel like there's going to be a little bit of bitterness to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
What have we had the Russian Imperial stouts before? What would we liken this to without getting into it?
Well, I know Old Rasputin is one.
Yep. That's the one I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, I have had the barrel-aged version of that.
Ooh, and?
It's amazing.
Okay.
It's super smooth, dark, heavy, and there's a little bit of, I want to say, to memory's sake, some chocolate bitterness. But I don't quite remember what barrels it was aged in or anything either. So I'm missing a little bit of information on it. It was just really damn good.
Okay.
So with this one, milk stouts, love and hate relationship with them.
Yeah.
Usually heavier than I care for.
Okay.
But Imperial and barrel aged really brings me in. You know what I mean? So being Imperial and having that heavier hitting kind of beverage that just kind of takes you over the hill a little bit more with the barrel aging process, there's going to be a little sweetness to it and more body, in my opinion, with both of those elements going on. So I'm expecting a heavy hitter.
I think we're gonna get one too. This is a collaboration brew, Ola Brew Company with Pond Farm Brewing Company. I don't know. They're a brew pub in California.
Oh,
so this is a little bit of collaboration. A bourbon barrel aged with Kona grown cacao and lactose. A Russian Imperial Stout is extra rich with smooth chocolatey deliciousness. Flavor profiles that Untapped users have checked in: boozy, sweet, barrel aged. I think that's kind of common. We expected that. Rich and brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I've only had a few brandies myself. Okay. So very curious about that.
Average rating 4.1.
Okay.
On Untapped, so that's nothing to shy away from. But then again, we've had multiple discussions about Untapped ratings before.
Yes.
They're the Wild West.
They're great for, I guess, the public, but horrible for the brewers.
Yes.
Because the brewer is making what they would expect to be perfect.
I know we talked to
their vision.
Yes. and sitting there saying, "Oh, this is a really great brew," 3.5 out of 5, and they're like, "What the hell?" Like, if you put that on a grading curve,
it's terrible.
That's a 70.
Yeah.
That's a C. Like, I mean, you didn't fail.
No, but it's not good.
But you didn't study.
Yeah.
So like 3.5 out of 5 for me. 3.5. Hell yeah, I'll drink this again. And
yes.
I'm sure they're looking at this like, and we've had this discussion with almost every brewer interview that we've talked to. Crazy Gnome comes to mind. But I get it.
They were fresh on the block, and it was a good subject to kind of break into. And everyone, users, brewers, hosts, bartenders, everyone universally hates Untapped for something.
Yeah.
And we can all agree it's not great. But we can also agree that the user base loves it.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel like extra while they're at your brewery being a judge and whatnot. But,
it is a love-hate relationship.
It is.
It's one of those. Untapped is great because if you're a verified venue and you keep your shit up to date.
That's a good point.
I stroll into town and I go, where can I drink? And I hit Untapped, verified venues. I find the closest place that has a good list and I go.
Yes.
On the flip side, if you're a brewer and you're looking at people check in the beers, and you're getting ratings from 2 all the way up to 5, you don't really know what to think.
Right. It's not like Google reviews where you better be a 4 or 5.
Otherwise, I'm not going to that place.
Then it's seen like you suck.
Yeah.
3 stars. Oh, I'm not. So he broke somebody.
Right.
I'm not going to that guy. Yeah. But beers, it's not that way. But I'm assuming majority's against me in that opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So we always took it, and it made sense to us to say 3 I'd have again. Anything less than 3 is like, probably not. 3.5 is a great beer.
Yeah.
4 is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything 4.25, 4.5, 4.7, and then 5. Of course, you can get into the like 10th decimals if you're a paid guy and switch to that. But anything above that to me is almost a legendary status.
But that mentality is I don't want to give a beer a 5 because to me that means the beer is perfect.
Yeah.
And there could always be something to improve upon.
Right.
But the brewery is expecting and hoping you give them that 5 because they're producing what they think is the perfect version of that style.
I would hope Untapped takes all this chatter into thought, into kind of a multi-level, just 2 ratings. There's the general.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this beer? Good or bad? Plain and simple. 5 is like good.
Yeah.
Make that known to people. Like, did you like the beer? 5. Yes, I really liked it. But give us a snob scale.
Snob scale rating.
Yeah. Where brewers don't need to take that one serious. You know what I mean? But it gives people to be like, however, the yeast strain used in this, and it's just not my thing. 3.5. That's where the rating system could be shoved into that's currently in place.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a snob on it, but when a brewer just wants to know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, give it a yes or no answer kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. There's some play there.
If I want to read the snob review, then I'll read the snob review.
Yeah.
I just want to know, am I brewing this beer to meet the expectations of the style that you're expecting to receive? Is this a pale ale? Is this an IPA?
Beer on point, yes or no? Something like that. And you go, yes, and here's my snob rating, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a simpler thing. Would you drink it again is a good, like, right next to a rating scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Drink it again? Yes.
Untapped, if you're listening, I'm sure they're not.
No, they're not. But if anybody wants to chime in and like hit us up or, comment on something, it's just like, I'm curious, what would be a good thing for brewers on Untapped? Because they want to know what's selling good, what people are enjoying. But when you rate a 3.5 or anything less than a 5, they can't take it seriously.
Right.
It's all still word of mouth. So this app does nothing for brewers.
Mm-hmm.
Actively does nothing for them.
Yeah.
The only thing it does for them is if they have their venue verified and keep it up to date, it brings people in.
Right.
Which is the most important thing of the app, in my opinion.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah. And if Google would wrap that shit into their map, their map,
that would be great.
It'd be, there you go. Here's the location, and here's the verified Untapped scroll of what's on tap.
Come on, Google. We know you can do it.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things that, very curious in another 10 years, what are we going to have beer tracker wise? Like, you can just open up the app and foot walk all things.
Virtually.
Stumble around till you find it.
Well, let's see if Ola Brew thinks that this is worthy of a 4.11.
Yeah, let's do it.
That
411
is saying is worth.
Wait, 411 sounds familiar. I'm going to Google it while we pour.
411 is the information line.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
The angel number.
Okay. Oh. Woo. Mitch. Boozy as fuck.
Oh, I smell it, dude.
Yeah. So it's got that tight bubble foamy head, right?
Mm-hmm.
That milky. I mean, it's a Russian Imperial milk stout. This is exactly what you expect. It's got those tiny foam bubbles on top. It's not like one of those. It's not like the foamy head from an IPA that dissipates. Rather the fact, I mean, this is something that floats on top of the beer.
Yeah, these bubbles are all over the place. They're not the same size.
No. It's definitely dark, obviously. Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah, you can't see through that.
Super boot.
Yeah, that nose is...
Definitely. I don't pick up barrel-aged banana.
It has a sweetness like a banana.
I don't know what that is.
But I don't know either.
Okay. On the nose.
Yeah.
I smell a little bit of chocolate.
I went ahead and had some foam. A little chocolatey.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm diving in. Huh. That's smooth.
That is not... Well, it's on the end.
It is.
The strong kind of the burning sensation is on the end.
Oh, I'm going in again. That's weird.
I have a comment on this beer.
Definitely a milk stout because it's heavy and it's got that like I don't know exactly how to put my finger on it, but it's the milk stouts always have a certain kind of weight, taste, and feel when I drink them. And then I immediately just kind of have like I'm full feeling.
Yeah.
And the booziness here is not till the end, like you were saying. And it's kind of a nice, charming little taste, though, right at the end, like hit.
Yeah.
It's not all the way through it.
Yeah. That was very similar to the comment I was going to make. So additionally, I will add, on top of the fact that the booziness comes in at the end, I wouldn't really even say booziness. I'd say kind of an alcohol burn feeling.
Yeah.
On the end. Chocolate kind of in the middle, and a little bit of chocolate that stays with you, but mainly in the middle.
It's kind of
dark chocolate, bitter.
Silky in a way.
Silky.
Yeah.
Was that the word you were looking for earlier?
I think so.
Okay.
It's silky right there.
Yeah.
And it lingers with the bitterness of chocolate.
Right. But one additional comment I'll make to what you said, just to kind of tack onto it. It smelled a lot more barrel aged than it tastes.
Yeah, the nose is a lot more.
I expected, kind of when we had those. We've had multiple strong imperial stouts.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't Russian, but they were definitely barrel aged imperial stouts.
One that takes me back is the Neapolitan.
Yeah,
that was a good
Saugatuck.
one. Yes.
The Neapolitan milk stout that was barrel aged as well.
Yeah,
they have a nitro that's not barrel aged, but the CO2 version,
that one was
so good.
Else. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I would have that every day if I could.
Absolutely,
that would be my ice cream at night.
But the barrel aged, when you think of barrel aged, you think it's going to be super boozy. You think it's going to be very strong on a bourbon barrel aged or whiskey barrel aged or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get that from this.
Yeah, I don't either.
I get some strong alcohol burn on the end, but it smells a lot more like heavier, harsher than the taste was. I was pleasantly surprised, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, this is kind of the fun part with craft beer. You never know what you're going to expect, and then you get to pick it apart. And that's part of the journey here. And this one's made us think pretty good.
Yeah. The brain hurts a little bit right now. Mitch, I'm not really sure what to think about this.
It's a good thing. It's also medicine.
Yeah.
So I'll have to ponder more through every sip.
I definitely, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either.
I think it's a good crafted, well crafted beer. I can definitely taste the chocolate. Or I should say the cacao. Obviously 6-1, but cacao, kind of is more of a dark, bitter chocolate.
Yeah.
And I taste that. I think the sweetness comes in from the lactose.
Cacao is a good safe word too.
Yeah. It would be a good safe word. I don't know why I'm talking safe words with you, Mitch.
Well, it's from a show Allison and I watched years ago, Portlandia.
Okay.
And they had a safe word, and it was any time he tried to or wanted to do something playful, immediately in middle conversation or any kind of touch, cacao. And anyway, and she would just keep talking kind of thing. So she just, that was the safe word, and the safe word bled into, no, we're not doing this right now. Cacao. So sorry, that was my own brain.
No, this is what happens when you're 3 beers deep.
Cacao.
Barrel-aged Russian Imperial Milk Stout from Ola Brew. what did we say?
9.3?
9.7. 34.5 IBUs. Pond Farm Brewing Company collaboration with Ola Brew. They did not have this on tap. I'm pretty confident that they did not have this on tap.
Yeah.
When I was there. I tried all of Ola's IPAs like we talked about at the beginning. I tried a couple of their ciders. I tried what else did I try? I felt like they had a Pilsner that was really solid.
Ooh. Loving the Pilsners.
You've been kind of converting me on that through your journey into Pilsners again.
It all started with that Hoppy Crisp lager from
Southern Grist.
Yeah.
And then Living Waters comes out with their Triberg.
God, and it's back, by the way.
Yeah.
So get it while you can.
Yes.
Man, that one's a good one. Lest I forget, Yazoo has an amazing Italian Pilsner. It's some sort of anniversary Pils. And if they still have it, it's one of the best in town.
Did we have that when we met up at Yazoo?
I think so.
That night?
I think so.
Okay.
I know I would have suggested it. But
I feel like we had a Pilsner while we were there. And it's not the Daddy-O Pilsner that you're referring to.
No.
It's an anniversary release.
Yeah, okay. It's a longer name. I can't think of the full limit, but full term or title. They also had a really nice barrel-aged beverage there, stout-wise as well, but I forget, kind of. It's been 2 or 3 months.
We've drank since then.
That's true, several times.
But going back to this one, I feel like I know it sounds, and I don't want to put it in the same category as the IPAs that I had while I was there. But to make a reference, I think I prefer their IPA over this one.
Yeah, I would agree. I guess the only reason I would agree is because it's not solid through and through on the flavors. Mm-hmm. So if you were thinking like a chef's plate, whenever you are offered something that's high end, you want to taste every element in every bite.
Okay.
I kind of carry that into with milk stouts or beers in general. Sorry, I read the label verbatim in the largest font, milk stouts, with all the confidence. But with beer, craft beer, whatever I should be tasting or think I'm tasting should be in every sip.
Okay.
And I think it does that to a degree, but it's not through the consistency of this is where it should be. You know what I mean? Because as I got more and more in, I already finished my glass. The booziness sort of faded for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just because my palate was adapting. It was layering and cascading, whatever the term is that is there, where your mind just goes, it's not there so much anymore. Maybe I didn't let it warm up enough, so the notes didn't come out. There's a few factors to go in here with. But all in all, it's not my favorite milk stout.
Yeah.
It's good.
I agree.
But it to me, it's just not one that I'm going to call back to a lot.
Yeah.
It's a Russian Imperial milk stout for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the barrel aged stuff is a little weak, but it's really strong on the nose for some reason.
I think if they were to, so if this was not advertised as barrel aged, if this was just a Russian Imperial milk stout, this is going to sound bad, but I feel like I would have given it a higher rating.
I think so too.
But when you tell me something is barrel aged, you automatically set my expectations to boozy, whiskey or bourbon, kind of that bite, that strong bite.
Right.
It's higher. The bar is set higher, right?
Yeah. And what was that liquor that someone likened it to? Brandy. Yeah. So maybe that's the thing. Like, brandy could be a lighter taste. I don't agree if you like drank brandy straight. It's strong as fuck. But is it barrel aged in brandy? I don't think so. But
it maybe. So it doesn't say, but, and this could be just me and my element of being from the mainland southeast of the United States, the South.
Yeah.
Jack Daniel's Distillery, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, all of these, Jefferson Reserve, like all of these strong bourbons and whiskeys. When you throw barrel aged in front of me, I expect barrel aged.
Right.
And and not that this wasn't, but I feel like I smelled it and I go, ooh, I'm in for a really strong beer. And then I tasted it and I was not let down, but maybe so. Maybe it was kind of like, well, I was expecting it to be stronger than that. And it wasn't.
I mean, I hate to be untapped here, but but yes.
Be untapped, Mick.
Yeah. It didn't quite meet my initial expectations.
Yeah.
But, it's still good. It's a good drink. It's overall pretty passive of a milk stout that's barrel aged.
Okay.
It's not aggressive on your palate.
Yeah.
It's smooth. It's got that silky middle with the chocolate. And then it's got a little, here I am with barrel age. It's not, it kind of like pets your tongue as it goes down.
But by then, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've already been through the chocolate. I've already been through the silkiness. And I go, well, if you're a barrel aged, I expected you up front. Mm-hmm. By the time I get to the end of the sip, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I drink it again, going, let's see if I have a different experience. And I don't. I have the same experience over and over. I'm going to rate it first.
Sure.
This time. Shit.
Your mind was like, hold on.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I'm going to rate it for not the overall rating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to rate it for the style.
Okay.
And I'm going to say 3.5.
I was around there.
I feel like if this was going to be like it, I feel like it would have gotten probably closer to a 4 had it been boozy up front, boozy in the beginning, boozy in the middle, super, barrel aged. I think that would have gotten a higher rating from me. And again, if they would have just dropped barrel age and it was just Russian Imperial Milk Stout, I think it probably would have gotten closer to like a 3.8.
Yeah.
But it knocks it down a few points when you set my expectations high and then I take the sip and I don't get that barrel age. So good beer, Ola. I still love you. You guys are making solid brews. And this is no different. This one's really good.
Yeah.
But I just expected a little bit more barrel aged than what I got. So 3.5, 2 thumbs up, but that's what I'm sticking with.
I'm going to be 3.75 just because I'm highly typically against milk stouts. And my ratings would probably show that. I hope I'm not lying. But barrel aged always gives it an extra oomph, especially when it's a Russian Imperial style. So 3.75 for me.
Okay. Nice.
I enjoyed it. I will drink it again.
Yeah.
I would love to see.
You have to if you're going to give a beer a 3.5.
Yes.
You're going to have to drink it again.
And on tap, I bet this is a different story.
Yeah.
I think the canning might have done something to it, but I'm not 100% sure because the bubble like the head retention was nice, but the bubbles I've heard, if they're not like consistent, it's not quite right. But I don't know how much truth there is to that. I am not a brewer, so
gotcha. No, makes sense. You might be right in that aspect. Maybe the can did something to it. I bet you this would have been probably not smoother, but it would probably smoother. But I think it probably would have been more punch.
Yeah.
On tap.
I think so.
If we could have found it, or maybe they didn't put this on tap. Maybe this was
not.
can only. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if bottle aging might have been a better choice. But I don't know.
So something about that. There's not a lot of bottles in Kona. And I feel that number one, everything's more expensive in Kona. So cans are definitely, and that's in general, canning is cheaper than bottling. But in this case, a lot of their aluminum is made from 100% recyclable. So this is totally compostable.
Yeah.
Everything that they do in Hawaii is
for the environment.
For the environment. Matter of fact, I go to Ola Brew and I ordered just a glass of water. And it was made from 100% recycled plastic, like stuff that you would be like, you would have to pay extra for here.
Right.
They're just, oh yeah, sure. They put some ice and they put it under the faucet, turn the cold water on. They give you a glass of water, 100% compostable plastic. That glass that probably would have been like half as much cost if you would have just polluted the environment with cheap ass plastic.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're going for here. Is canning is cheaper. It's a little bit more environmentally friendly.
Makes sense.
So maybe I see Kona had a few bottles, but they're also brewing all over and sending into the mainland too. All the breweries that I went to, if you had beers to go, they were all cans.
Okay.
All cans.
I mean, it makes sense. If there's a style of beer that's better in bottle, I wonder if they would do it or if there's a mandate against it or something so it prevents them.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Final thoughts. We had 3 today. We had the
Hawaii got it going on.
Yeah,
I like them, man. And they've got nowhere to go but up compared to Nashville right now, which is weird to say now.
Yeah,
like Nashville used to not be this
5
way.
years ago. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, so now I'm like, Nashville's really good, craft beer mecca. Come on, and we're getting there. We're close.
We are. I think Nashville's definitely put their flag into into the ground. We had the Ola IPA. We had the Mauna Kea Pale Ale from Hilo Brew. And then, of course, we came back around to the Russian Imperial Milk Stout, quote-unquote barrel-aged, from Ola. Out of the 3, which one was your favorite?
What was the name again? Mauna Kea?
Mauna Kea?
Mauna Kea, yeah.
The pale ale.
Yeah.
Nice.
That pale ale, all the flavor, man.
Yeah.
All the flavor.
I agree.
That was the best. The other one was a nice, IPA.
Uh-huh.
But it was a crushable.
Yep.
And crushables don't stay in my mind very long because they're in and out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
By definition,
yeah.
You drink it and you move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the winner would be that.
Okay. I agree. I think out of the three, that was my favorite as well. The Mauna Kea Pale Ale from Hilo. Sometimes just having, a pale ale with all the right flavors outshines every other beer. So I will agree. Out of the three, the Mauna Kea Pale Ale was my favorite as well.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah, I think we had a few good brews today. We were able to split three different ones. Because we split three different cans, I'm not necessarily feeling it as if we were to, pound three whole beers ourselves. So I think this is a good vibe.
Yes.
Cruising. It was a good trip. Hawaii was a great trip. I'm very excited about what they have to offer in the brewery gang.
Yes.
I think the bar is set high over there with Ola Brew as well, with their IPAs, their hazies, and their triples. Like everything else that I couldn't bring back with me is really good.
Yeah.
But in the mainland here, even in the southeast, we kind of win.
Yeah.
I think we win.
Yeah.
So no disrespect, because these guys are definitely brewing great beers.
They can brew better than me.
They will definitely can brew better than me as well. So I'm not going to knock it all. Very much appreciated of Ola Brew, Hilo Brew.
Yes.
All those guys. You guys are doing great work. Please keep it up. Mitch, it was a good time tonight.
Yes.
I think we had fun. We drank some good beers. If you're not drinking beer, start drinking beer. If you are drinking beer, keep drinking beer. If you've never had craft beer before, don't listen to us, because we're just two dumbasses that just like to drink beer. But go out and find something, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.